Frontal collapses. We use them in SIV training to help you get comfortable with catching late when your wing shoots forward. If you don't catch the wing as it dives, you'll simply end up with a frontal collapse. It's one of those things that it is easier to experience than to explain. Once you've felt it, you realize it's really not such a big deal. That's why, while working on rapid exits and late catch and release, we occasionally add a frontal collapse. It's there to help you see what happens when you don't react in time and to show you that it's okay, it's not a big deal. The wing collapses and it opens again. Simple. Now, there are many variations of frontal collapses. They change depending on how much energy is involved, whether they are symmetric or asymmetric, whether you hold them in or release them, if you're on bar, off bar, slow, fast, all of that changes how the frontal behaves. You can have a small soft tuck or a big aggressive one. And of course, every wing reacts differently. The aspect ratio plays a big role. Higher aspect ratio wings are more precise and sensitive. You need to be careful and accurate to simulate them correctly. Lower aspect ratio wings, on the other hand, are much simpler. They tend to open quickly and easily. The goal of this exercise is to explore the limits of your wing at its most forward pitch, to understand what happens when you don't react in time, and to see that even then, it's not dramatic. It's straightforward, predictable, and part of learning to manage your wing's energy. Let's take a look at a few examples from our SIV courses. Here's a nicely executed frontal collapse. As you can see here, pilot has no brake toggles in his hands. It's just going for a frontal collapse by pulling A's, leaning back after that to let the wing recover. There's boom, a frontal. Hands are clearly up and pilot is nicely enjoying, arms away, and lets the wing do its job. When a frontal is done correctly, it's really quite a simple maneuver. You can see there, the hands are reaching to the A risers, pulling it nice dynamically halfway through the risers, leaning back, looking up. The only thing missing from perfect exercise would be legs down, bent in a 90-degree angle for stability in case of a twisting motion. The wing has collapsed right in the center. Wingtips are folding down, starting to fold down, and you'll see how the folding behind and the wing starts to open in the center. Airflow goes in and opens up the wingtips. Nice and easy without pilot's input. So the symmetry in collapse is what makes this so much nicer. Here you can see as it comes in, it's still a touch asymmetric from this point of view. You can see that this is kind of coming a bit faster than that side. But the tuck was nice and quick and symmetrically enough to open up nicely. So let's go back. There's the full collapse. As the pilot loads the wing, it starts to open up. Hands are away from the risers. And there you go. Opens up and flies away. Let's have a look at a frontal collapse where pilot collapsed it a tiny bit asymmetrically, making quite a dynamic response from the wing. There's the video in real time, and it reopens. Let's have a look at what happened. As the pilot goes to collapse it, he pulls his left hand a tiny bit more. You can see here that the left side of the pilot's, from the pilot's point of view, is collapsing more, and it's starting to hit the airflow, and it will be tucking under because of it more than the other side. So this wingtip is being bent by the wind and gonna go under the, kind of tuck under and close the leading edge a bit. Here you can see clearly that the right side of the pilot is more above his head, where this one is bent down behind, and the leading edge is bent under the wing, slowing down the reopening. Now as the pilot loads the wing, the left side of the left wingtip is starting to move forward where this is staying, and that turns a little bit towards the camera. Now you have the wingtip peeling opposite, which is actually quite interesting because it's going to help to reopen the frontal, and it fully reinflates. And here you can see how that wingtip is going to pull to start reopen, because the air is getting into the corner here, and because of that it starts gradually reopening the collapse from one side to the next. Throughout all of this, pilot had no brake toggles on his hands, so all of the reopening happened by the wing itself, and he's taking the toggles now as it shoots forward.